Golf Central continuing live from the Open, and a great one it was. What we saw today defies logic in many ways. What we saw from 13 on would be a Netflix mini-series. Jordan hits his tee ball way to the right, and then he's looking for some relief, and he ends up taking a drop, believe it or not, after a great deal of deliberation on the driving range. And this is how chaotic it was on the ground, Brandel.
Well, yeah, it was a bizarre scene for sure. I mean, it had shades of Seve in it, you know, definitely. You know, he did well just to find the golf ball, and it looked like, my goodness, this is a disaster unfolding in slow motion. But he took an unplayable, and, well,
it was stranger than fiction, but it really happened. With more, let's go down to Todd Lewis.
Rich, thank you very much. I'm joined by David Rickman, who's standing in the rain with us. He's with the R&A, and he served as the chief referee for the Open to talk about what happened here on the practice grounds just to the right of the 13th hole with Jordan Spieth, who hit a wayward tee shot. And we're going to show you where Jordan Spieth ball landed off the tee, and that was on that bank there. And David, he decided to take an unplayable. What are the options that a player has when taking an unplayable?
Yes, under the rules of golf, so applicable to everyone, including the players obviously this week. He has three options under Rule 28. He can use the stroke and distance option, which would be to go back to the tee. He could drop within 2 club lengths of where the ball lay in the unplayable lie, not nearer the hole. Or the third option is to keep the position where the ball lies and keep it directly in line with the flagstick and go back as far as he likes. And it's that third option that Jordan chose to use.
But here was the issue, and that is these giant equipment trucks that follow players out on both the European Tour and the PGA Tour here this week, and they were in the way, and Jordan, and working with rules officials, had to figure out that third option, that line of sight. And how difficult was that?
Yes, I mean, normally joining 2 points up is a pretty easy operation. The trouble here is that we had a huge sand dune in the way, so even just aligning everything took a little bit of time. To be honest, I helped them using your pictures, so that was.
So kind of show us where the line of sight
absolutely
would be.
Absolutely. So another question I was asked was to confirm that the practice ground was in bounds, and therefore it was available to Jordan, which it is. It's in bounds for the members here at Birkdale, and therefore we've kept it in bounds for the championship. So the unplayable ball drop took Jordan into the middle of this equipment truck. So that is where his relief under the unplayable ball rule is. Now this truck, because it's not normally here, is what we would call in professional golf events a temporary immovable obstruction.
A TIO.
A TIO, exactly. And therefore, in addition to taking relief from the lie of the ball and the area of intended swing, which is normally the obstruction situation, you get what we call line of sight. If that temporary immovable obstruction is on your line of sight. And that is why, as a second procedure, you have to break this down into parts. Unplayable ball rule gets us into the truck, and then line of sight relief takes us not nearer the hole. We swing round on an arc.
So we come over here now.
So we come over here. And this is why you will have seen the referees. We were very fortunate. John Paramore, chief referee at the European Tour, helps us this week. Terrific to have him here. And David Bonsall, Rules of Golf, chairman at the R&A, was the referee with the game. So, you know, 2 better people we couldn't have had to help us. So in the end, Jordan would line up the edge of the equipment truck with where we believe the flagstick is, and then the TIO rule talks about dropping more than 1 and less than 2, and ultimately that took us to here.
And that's here where this yellow tee is, and this is actually the divot that Jordan took. And again, the practice grounds, as you determined prior to competition, in play.
Correct.
Right? So that he had that option to come here. And I will say this, Rich, they have a plaque that Arnold Palmer had in 1961 on this golf course. Would the R&A consider a plaque here?
Who knows? It was certainly a remarkable sequence, or an amazing recovery shot. Actually, a smart use of the rules. You know, under the most extreme pressure, he was thinking straight. He worked out that he felt that this was the best option, and in conversation with the officials, you know, where he would go. Always a good idea. Where, you know, leave your ball where it is before you work out ultimately where you're going to go. And he did all of that. I know it took a little bit of time, but it was a pretty important moment in this championship.
I know you mentioned in your explanation that because the practice grounds are in play for the members here at Royal Birkdale, is that why you determined that you were going to keep it in play here for this Open as well? Yeah,
and also I'm not sure we necessarily felt we'd have a player playing from here, if I'm being entirely honest. But yeah, it's in play ordinarily, and normally when we take the Open to a you know, the wonderful venues that we go to, we will try and leave the golf course the way the members play it. So that's our starting point. We'll only put areas out of bounds if we feel we absolutely have to, or for health and safety reasons.
And one thing I will say, Rich, and I'm sure you will agree with me, Jordan Spieth's knowledge of the rules and how it can benefit him with those three options, that was a big pivotal point, correct?
Absolutely. Always good to know what options you have.
Indeed. David, appreciate your time as always, and the full explanation here at this unusual spot of play here at the Open. Rich?
Jordan Spieth has won the Open in dramatic fashion. Great credit to Michael Greller, who pulled him in. Jordan admitting that the thoughts of the Masters 2016 did creep in, but doubt is gone. The demons are dusted, and he's won his third major championship.